Okay, well, welcome to Hoof Chat, and it is May 13th, 2025. And today we're going to give people the opportunity to have us look at their hooves and horses' hooves if they want, and to make suggestions and for them to share things that they have been learning, problems that they have, things like that. So right now I'm going to go back to Zoom meeting and talk to everybody. Just a second here. Okay, so all right. So let me see who all is here. Okay. All right. So who would like to talk about their horse's hooves and do some hoof evaluation trimming suggestions today? Anybody?
I guess I could go.
Okay, sounds
I,
good. So
well,
many chomping at the bit.
I, I'm still new to all this. I've been doing my guy for at least about 8 months now.
Uh-huh.
'Cause, and I'm struggling with getting his hind heels to come up and his bulbs release.
Okay.
I, I just watching your video that you had earlier about the frog.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not taking enough frog. It seems like so.
Okay. Do you have pictures? Did you send
Um,
have you ever sent me pictures?
I have them on Facebook. You commented on it yesterday.
Okay.
If
Okay, well, let's go there. Just a minute here and we'll take a look. Oh, de do de dum. Let's see. Take me a second to get there.
it's like I'm seeing progression with his front feet, but his hind feet, I'm not seeing no progression.
Yeah, I uh yeah, I was that way with my hinds too. It seems to have taken a little longer. A lot of it for me though was because I was paying way more attention to the front, you
Yeah.
know, and they were worse. The fronts were worse. So that's why I was more concentrated on them. Okay, go to the just a minute here. Let me get a share going. Okay, let's see here. Go down here. Send a bell. There's all right. That cannot be this has to be after, or it says 1503. Those are awful looking feet, Elena. Aren't they? They're
They
shod.
are
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, they're
And I also checked the date and I was like, how that happened?
1503. Hey, they should have been better at that time.
That's what
So,
I thought because it's before the vet school.
yeah.
But check the little feet.
Oh,
Just
I see
no,
the little feet here. We'll
now
have
you
to
see.
look at those.
Yeah.
Look at those too. I'm going to type your name in to find your post. Just a second here. Let's see here. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
There
now
we
I
go.
remember. Now I remember those feet.
Hopefully, they're not too bad.
No, your horse has good solid feet. So you're real fortunate in that area. Okay, so I'm gonna read your post. I did a trim last week. I would love some advice for his hind feet. I'm having a hard time getting them to come along. Should I notch out different on this hind to help the progress? Well, let's take a look at it here. Now, what I find is now this is the front. You know
Yes.
that you have the exact same crack in the exact same spot that I do on my left front.
Hmm.
Yeah, pillar crack instead of a quarter crack. That's funny. Okay, so this is left front. Left rear. Okay, let me back up here. Now, see, this is something that I had on my horse too. Now, look here. This is kind of similar to what I was showing on my horse, that area of the the tubules kind of pushed forward, and see how it's made a little crack there too.
Uh-huh.
So the just doing this is going to start to help that. Well, his bulbs are pretty, like his hairline is still pretty pulled under, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So the best thing to do now, are you going to get a prox on and learn how to do all that?
I would like to, yes.
Okay. Okay. So the best thing here is that you just do a clean, basic trim. So I'm going to take a picture here. See, that's the main thing before a lot of correction and stuff like that is people have to learn to do just a basic clean trim with no correction. And then you add your correction.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you're kind of adding as you go. If you got parts you want to grow, you're maintaining that part without trimming it down per se, you know, maybe even up a little here and there or something. But like when you're growing in heel, you want the heels to be above the sole. And the heel, of course, is not just the very end of the heel, but all the way up the full extent of the bar and over and back around.
Yeah.
That's the heel. So let's see here. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Just a minute here. Oh, okay. And let's see. New share. Okay. Okay, so first thing, of course, you're going to want to really get this bar down at least as good as the other one here. Well, and this one, you can see where he's had two bar walls. Do you see that? You see the wall here and the
Yes.
lamina that's left, and then you got a wall here. See, so you need to lift this off the side of the sole here, this
Okay.
piece here. Okay, and so if you get a prox on, now until then, you're just gonna have to take a knife and super clean up your frog and in here to where you got all fresh frog and in these corners here. But you want to learn to yeah. Have you been mapping? Have you practiced that?
Yeah, I've been mapping.
Okay. Let's see. Stop share. Oh gosh. Don't know what I'm doing. Annotate. All right. So we're just gonna map. So what I would do, say I come up to this foot here before I even mapped it. Let me take that off of there. I would clean it up. Um, let's see. Okay, I would go ahead and just trim up my frog. Okay, and then uh I would just I would just scribe out all the dead soul from here forward. Just around here, I would scribe out an area about this wide all the way around,
Okay.
down to clean soul. Okay. And then then once I got this cleaned up, okay, and got this frog trimmed, and really, really practice on getting that apex and finding it, to where literally the, you find the place where the apex and the soul, fresh frog, fresh soul merge together seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, okay. And then I'm going to map the foot. Let's see here. Hold on. I guess that'll work. I'm going to map the foot. I don't like that color. I need a better color. Just a minute here. Then I'm going to map the foot. Okay. I'm going to draw a line across my true apex. Okay, I can guarantee it's going to be further back than what you got there. In fact, the whole frog has been shoved forward because, you got the same good thing going all of us do. The back of the foot was pulled down and these have been shoved forward, but it's all put together with a nice periopal type frog and stuff like that that's hiding what's really going on. Okay, then I'm going to, well, here, I'm going to look at my frog. Okay. Once I know that this frog is going to be about like that, and this one about like so. Okay. So I'm going to want to clean up the sides here.
Okay.
Okay. And clean all that out. You're also going to want to, uh, don't let there be a ridge here. Kind of shape it a little bit, kind of thin that out and shape it. Then I'm going to map the bars, which would come over here. And I'm going to come up to the end of the heel, and it's going to be about there. See there? Well, wait a minute. Let me redo that. Okay, so we're going to come over here to the opposite side and come up to the end of the heel, which is about here to start. Okay, and I'm going to come in there and cut all this out. Just like that. Okay, that'll be the start.
And you want to cut
Right
that
there.
below the sole, right?
You want to cut it off the sole. Now, below the sole, yes.
Okay.
Meaning because the sole is shaped like this. Okay. And so your bar is growing up like this. See? And
Mm-hmm.
so the sole is about to here and the bar is only supposed to be this high. If the bar keeps growing, it just lays over the sole like that. That's what you got here. And stuff. So that's just a start. Just a minute here. That's just a start because you want to do the other bar too. You come in here, come up to the end of the heel, and you want to clean this up really good and lift all. See what happens is the bar lays over on the sole and it pushes the actual heel and the internal parts over as well. And if you don't watch it, you can actually get the internal part of the bar, the lamina, growing over the whole sole. It doesn't
Mm.
look like it is here, but see, it's grown over clear up to here. And now, see, it's laying over the sole right here. Just a minute here. So yeah, you're gonna want to come in, clean this up, clean the heel up. And you're peeling it off the sole. And it could be you get under there, you might find a thin piece of sole because wherever the bar lays over, if it lays over long enough, it keeps the sole from growing and that part of the sole will be thin.
Okay.
Okay. So that would be the start. Now, what I didn't tell you, when you're cleaning up the foot and you kind of clean up, you're going to clean up some of the sole here, back to about here. Okay. So this sole right here, you want to clean up some to where you have kind of a uniform ridge like that. And then you're going to want to level this wall down to the level of the sole.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to bevel the wall. Okay. Um, and you could do a notch, but you're also at the same time uh going to keep and continue to grow heels, you
Yeah, I
know.
have yet to take any, like, touch his heels at all.
Okay, good deal. But for now, it'd be these balls and these balls, these heels, these bars. God, I'm just not with it. I need a drink of something. Hold on, getting kind of dry. I love this stuff. Get it at Aldi's. It's called Good Belly. It's the gut loving company, it says. It's got prebiotics and probiotics in it. It's a juice drink. It's good. Okay, and they didn't pay me for that advertisement. Okay, so that's what you got to start just practicing on doing your basic clean trim. This would just be basic. See? And then once that is done, then you're going to look at the foot to see what other areas you might, but see, you need to learn first just to do a clean, rasp down basic trim, and mapping and just clean all that up. And so if you get a Proxon, that'll help you a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah, his feet are hard, so the knife,
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the knife.
Yeah. So, because you can get that Proxon in there and do those bars too. And at some point, you're going to want to thin down the bar wall period so that the heels can move, And so what you see on him is that as at what time, all of them have had their heels lowered one way or another. Or just never had their frogs trimmed right, and so their foot never fully extended. So it kind of mounts the same thing sometimes. And in his case, his feet are going wide. They're
Hmm.
going out this way instead of really contracting where that frog's real contract. So that's good. That's good. That's better than a contracted foot. So okay, so you can go back through this and watch this again, take pictures and think about it. Let's see here. Now, how long have you been trimming your own horse?
About 8 months.
About 8 months.
Hmm.
And can you want to share your history?
Share my history.
Yeah, your farrier trimmer history.
Um, well, I've only had two farriers throughout my life, and my horses have always come up really sore and
Mm-hmm.
lame after being trimmed. And I always thought it was just weird on how tiny he kept making my horse's feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and he's always, oh, you show your horses, they want small feet. And that just never really clicked with me.
Yeah. Isn't that
So
something?
yeah, so I ventured onto like a barefoot Facebook post, and then I guess one of your members suggested to go to your site, and so your videos just clicked with me, and I was like, this makes so much sense because I never understood why we're taking heel and
Mm-hmm.
making the toes so tiny, and that's just where I've been. So I've been doing my own. And then my mom's now asking me to try to start on her horse's feet because she was using the same farrier and her feet are so tiny.
Wow. Yeah.
So hopefully I could start helping her feet too.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing that because that's what's happening, you
Yeah.
know. And but they have some people programmed into thinking they're supposed to have little feet like that,
Yeah. And
you know.
they don't understand me. You have such a big animal. Why are you putting them on tiny platforms?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's just weird. I mean, because I did it too. Valor's foot had him the very, very last time I barefoot trimmed him in 2014. Uh, when he walked away, it was like he said, "You cut my foot off. Where is my foot?" That's just what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. You'd think after a trim, your horse would walk away in confidence instead of
Yeah,
ouch, where do I land now?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it was even worse than that because it was like he leaned way back and then he stepped way over, like, where'd my feet go? You know, it freaked me out. Because I literally was trying to mold his foot into that one dead wild horse's foot. That foot was absolutely put in my brain, you
Hmm.
know. So I understand what they're seeing and stuff. It's just, you know, it goes to show you what education can do. You
Yeah.
know, you show people the truth, they'll advance and move on to better things. Okay, but you can also convince people that things that aren't true are true. Of course, we can look around the world and see that there's an abundance of that, you know.
Hmm.
So, okay, I'm going to look at some more pictures of his feet here.
Yeah. Because like
Yeah,
even trail riding, I would put easy boots and stuff on him, and I always wondered why his bulbs would be so flattened, and it looked painful to me. It's like it shouldn't be rubbing there. There's no
yeah,
way. So it's like
yeah,
I knew even putting shoes on him was uncomfortable for trail riding. So it's like it has to be lifted.
yeah. Well, I'm so glad you found us.
Yes.
Instead of winding up. See, now is this first hoof chat you've been at?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I got something to show you. Hold on. There's something I'm selling. Okay. And you might want it. It'll really help you out. Just hold on.
I just broke down and bought a hoof stand.
Oh, did you? Yeah, that what one did you get?
Just like a $200 one off of Amazon.
Just a $200 one.
Well, you can't find
Ouch.
anything cheaper, but yeah, but
Yeah.
probably my back will probably be happy.
Oh, for sure. Well, I promise you this won't cost you very much. Just a minute here. If I can find where I'm supposed to be. Hold on. Yeah, this is no barefoot trimmer can be without these. No horse owner. This minute. Where are we at? Okay. Let's see. Share. Okay. Here we go. This will help your trimming. 1995. X-ray specs. Horse owners tired of paying out the yang to have your horse's feet trimmed or attend expensive clinics uh, to learn to trim them yourself only to do a worse job. X-ray specs are the answer to your prayers. There's a little thing, you just print it out, send it to me. I'll send you your X-ray specs. There you go. Okay. All right. Well, that's the brevity for today. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing what you're
Yeah,
going through.
thank you.
Um, it's just more evidence, see, of what is really going on out there that and the people aren't doing it on purpose, for sure, but it's just how they've been educated. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, when you watch so many YouTube videos on how they say bevel the heel towards the frog, level with the
Yeah,
frog. It's
yeah, it's terrible.
yeah.
Crippling horses all over the world and stuff, and they never tell you about their failures.
Yeah.
See, and horses can survive for a long time. Okay. So now we're looking here. Yeah, you see, don't feel this is what you got to know. It's going to take a year minimum to start getting this foot straightened out because really what you're doing is you're growing a good foot, not just trimming a good foot. Okay. So don't feel like you're not going anywhere because you have a long ways to go yet. But all that's going to happen is your horse will get better and better and better and better.
Okay.
See, and he won't be sore after every trim. See what because what he's got to do, he's got to add wall into his capsule to make his foot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
See? And so don't feel bad about that. The main thing to do is learn how to just to do a clean, simple, basic trim up. Um, learn how to rasp your wall level and flat. Now, you can't always rasp it like from the heels forward. You can't always have everything flat or perfect or anything like that. But the main thing to do is to learn just how to do a basic clean trim. And you'll get the hang of that over time. And I'm going to be making some more videos on it and stuff like that. So and then these bulbs, he'll add heel in. Let me show you where my horse is at. Just a minute here. Well, let's go through more of yours first. See, you're not in a bad place. Oh, this is the front. Your front feet aren't bad, you know, but you do need the more frogs to be straightened up. You've done a good job in the notching, things like that. But you just need to learn to do a basic trim on all these feet to clean up the sole a little bit and how to rasp your walls down flat and stuff like that before you bevel. Like when you trim, how do you rasp? What do you do like to the walls here?
I try to remember your videos when I'm doing. I always draw a blank when I'm trimming his feet. There's the white line, then the water line, then the white line. So,
Okay.
but I don't use nippers. Nippers scare me.
Okay.
I'm scared I'm gonna either have it not flat enough or too turned, and I take way
Yeah.
too much wall. So I just rasp
Okay.
away.
That's okay. Well, it looks pretty good to me. Looks
Okay.
like you're doing a good job. Okay. And stuff and that, we our skills improve as we go. We're not professionals,
Yeah.
obviously. I'm not a professional. I can't go in there and slice and dice. I am slow, you know, slow and old. Um, but that foot, I mean, uh, your feet are just going to get better and better. You do need to learn how to, well, when you get your procs on and you're able to thin down these frogs a little more, that'll help you a lot too. But this is looking good. It's not looking bad at all. It's on its way. And but and now look, your bars look pretty good, but see how this bar is starting to lay over right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those bars still have to be shorter. See,
Okay.
if you take and you map those, well, you did map them. Okay,
I
so I
did.
see
Yep.
that. But the mapping line, this is interesting. Okay, I'll show you here. See, I changed the mapping line for the bars a while back. So let's look at this here. And let's see where it's going to be different if we were to put it in the new spot. So let's see here. Got to share. Okay. So annotate. Oh, okay, so we're gonna just go down through here. Um, your apex is probably even a little bit further behind that. I'd say probably about, well, just a minute. Probably about there. Okay, now, so then you come over here to the side. Now see, if I was to come up here, well, from where you did it over to the heel, see, that's pretty close. See there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But now, if I'm come over here and I come in here up to the heel, see the difference?
Okay. So we're crisscrossing pretty much.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and let me let's see. Okay, and you just come up to the inside of the heel there.
Linda, are you marking it near bulb where the heel comes to where it's at the very edge of the heel wall? Is that where you're measuring it to?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm taking
From
it
there?
and I'm coming up to the edge of the heel
Okay.
inside, like you would take the protractor, like this is the edge of the protractor here,
Yeah.
and you're just bringing it up into the inside edge of the heel there, and then drawing your line, and then you come in there and you're gonna, oh, wait a minute. Then I'm gonna come in here and first of all, look at this piece of your hoop wall. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that has to be managed more. So this has to be kind of dug out there,
Okay, so
like
dig out
so.
deeper there.
Yeah. And then you're going to want to lift all this off and take it down to right
Okay.
there. Okay. And if you run in, and then you can smooth out these areas too, like just kind of take off the side of it with your knife,
Mm-hmm.
to shape it more. There are no sharp square edges on the foot, except maybe right here, that's about it. Um, okay, so then you come over here, you're going to take your knife, you're going to go through here and see there, you're going to take off all of this as well. Um, so that's a start. Then you're going to, okay, notice how your toe is kind of square.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you would want to take this down so that it's shaped like a foot. As you rasp it down, and like if you were to rasp this foot down to the level of the sole, okay, then the wall out here would be the same shape as you see the sole being here. See how the sole is like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but see how this kind of goes out like this? So that means you want to make sure you don't leave the sides here high.
Okay. So
Because then
he
that,
doesn't have much concavity in his front feet. So should I leave a little bit wall above the sole or keep
no,
it? Okay.
no, you don't have to, because I can tell right here he's got excess sole. If you were to, let's say you were to level that wall flat rasp down to where you just touch the sole all the way around,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're leaving for a day or two, you'll come out and he'll have worn that sole down and you'll have wall sticking up above the sole.
Okay. So I've been leaving it long because I thought I was going to hurt his sole because he didn't have much concavity. So, okay.
Well, but see, um, uh, what we're looking, okay, so what we're looking to build first is not concavity, but a sole ridge
Mm-hmm.
around here, a convex sole ridge around here. And then this part here fills up with sole, and your feet can actually look almost flat and still have a good inch of sole growing under there.
Okay.
Okay. Because, like I said, okay, this part here is concave, like so. Then here it goes, or not concave, convex. Okay. This is convex. This is concave. So you have a convex rim of sole around this whole foot. And I can see he actually has quite a bit. Okay. But then right here is where it gets concave. So what I call crescentric, which it's comprised of both convex and concave qualities. Now, what I was showing you on my horse as far as concavity is just because I have really cleaned up the sole recently, but I can show you other pictures where his feet looked almost flat because the sole in the bowl here had grown level to the convex sole ridge. And so it looks flat, but it ain't,
Okay.
but he has a lot more sole than what you think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we don't determine concavity or sole depth necessarily by concavity because it could be that all that concavity is just filled up with sole.
Okay. Yeah.
See? Okay, let's see here. Let's go back. See, now it's good because his bulbs are off the ground and your hairline's pretty straight. See there?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as you practice these things, these heels are going to get stronger, stronger too. Do you got any more questions?
Nope, I think you answered pretty much what I need to work on. So
Okay.
definitely do need to get a tool that's easier than a knife for sure.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I look like I'm a dentist now. I got two Dremels. I've got two Proxon. I had an old Proxon and it was making lots of noise. And Janet Hare bought me another one and sent it to me. Bless her heart. She's not here today though. But and so I've got two different things on those. And I got my 3-inch grinder. Then I've got the two Dremels. And I got it all set up on this table thing with rollers where I could just reach over there and grab them, and stuff. And so that has made it a lot easier. Yeah, the more power tools, the better,
Yeah.
you know? Okay then. Well, let's see. So what time is this? 1:52. Who else has something they want to talk about? If not, I would like to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to put this on a video. I need to take a break. I'm going to put on a video, a trimming video, for you to watch, and then I will come back. So who is that? Who just
Hey,
showed up?
Linda.
Hi, Missy. Hey,
It's Bert.
Roberta.
Yes, ma'am. Ha ha.
Hi.
Hi, dear.
How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good.
When
Well,
when you come back, I do have a couple questions.
okay.
So,
Yeah, I've been fighting the tick disease thing.
oh my,
Yeah, I
I,
got bit by a tick on the 14th
oh my.
and it turned into a bullseye, but I just didn't get a chance to go to the doctor. And then my health started deteriorating, and I got every symptom under the sun. And then I went to the doctor and they wouldn't give me anything.
It might be too late to actually treat it.
No, it can be treated. Yeah, I'm
Do you
still
have
good.
to have a particular antibiotic, or can you use a different one?
Doxycycline and stuff. Well, then I filed a complaint against them. And so then I went to the real doctor today. It was a nurse practitioner, okay,
Yeah,
in a quick care at my
yeah,
clinic,
yeah.
okay, and she didn't know what she's doing.
Oh my word.
And the thing was, my husband was going in for an operation at the time, and I mean, it was just kind of crazy. So then I filed a complaint and went in there. Then I went in the doctor today, and she gave me some doxycycline.
Awesome.
But I had some anyway, which I
Is it
started taking.
helping?
Well, yeah, I think it is, you know. But do you know, here's the thing. I think people need to be more aware of what ticks can do, you know.
Absolutely.
They're
Because
nasty.
yeah,
They're
they can give you myocarditis. Yeah, they can give you cardiac problems. And
Yeah. Oh yes.
yeah, so I found out that the clinic I'm going to has the wrong information on how to treat people
Just
through all this. This is what I find out, right?
yeah.
So then what'll happen is they will deny people treatment or just not think it's important, and the people don't even know they're being denied treatment. So then they just, go home, whatever. Well, then they start developing joint aches and heart palpitations and all these different problems. Well, then they go back to the same doctor, and doctor's, well, you're just getting old. well, maybe it's too much cholesterol. Well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. No, it was because they got bit by a tick and now they got Lyme's or something like that, and it's starting to take over, you know. So then
Yeah.
when they die, it's just chalked up as, well, they got old, and natural causes, heart disease and all that. So I wrote a big thing on it and wrote my whole experience with the tick and with the person that wouldn't treat me and stuff like that, and took it in there yesterday and talked to one of the mucky mucks, you know, and plus I'd done some research in the meantime to find out. I mean, I knew it was bad, but it was even worse than I thought. And so I'm staying on them because they need retrained at that clinic. And here's the thing, who's to say? I wouldn't say like the providers do that on purpose, okay? But these people that, I don't trust anymore CDC and stuff like that. They got their own guy coming out uh saying that they're doing things they shouldn't.
I
So
think they got their own agenda
I
anyway.
do too.
Yeah.
And personally, I think if there's somewhere there in the background, okay, just like we noticed here the last few years, old people, they can't wait to get them on morphine, you know, because morphine will kind of end your life quick and stuff like that. And it just got me to thinking, well, now wouldn't this be convenient to just all these people dying of heart disease, but it was actually tick bites, you know? So anyway,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with it, and I'm staying on them. Okay, I ain't
Good.
dropping this because I can just imagine. I know other older people like me have gone in there with tick bites, didn't get treated right, wound up with Lyme's or Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever and died. I just think that that's a real possibility. So anyway, and you see, 2 years ago I had Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever, so I knew how
Goodness.
that felt.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I had auriculosis, which is another tick-borne disease,
really,
several years ago, and I just got almost like I had some sort of like stomach flu or something.
uh-huh.
I had 103 fever
Oh my
Mm,
goodness.
for 3 days.
Oh wow.
goodness
I thought it
gracious.
was just something that would pass, but you're supposed to go get help if it's more than 3 days.
Uh-huh.
I go to the local doc in the box
Mm-hmm.
and I see the doctor and I say, I have been bitten by ticks. I work outside, it
Yeah.
happens. I try to get them off. I look for them every day during the summer. I said, but I've had ticks on me and explained my symptoms and all this, that, and the other. He said, oh, he thought I just had a stomach virus. I'm
Yeah,
going,
these jerks.
it's been 3 days. I'm sick. I'm still 103 minutes.
Yeah.
So he just gave me some nausea medication, sent me
Oh, that
home.
jerk.
So it was a holiday. Monday was like a holiday. So it took me 3 more days to get back in, still with 103 fever.
Good
Jeez.
gosh.
And I see a different doctor and I say, and he goes, okay, we're starting you on doxycycline. We're pulling blood. We're going to check. I mean, he knew. He knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I took like 2 doses of doxycycline and my fever like was gone and I felt better.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, 10 days on doxycycline, which was not fun.
Yeah.
but but yeah, and it took me a long time to get over that.
Yeah. Get
To get
over it.
energy. I did. I mean, it just to have a fever for that long. I lost a lot of my hair.
Oh my
I
goodness.
because of the stress on my body.
Yeah.
I had my horse at home because he had a reoccurrence of strangles,
Oh
and
no.
I was having to haul him to the vet school. I had him here at home by myself, trying to take care of this horse where I could barely walk to the barn in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it was not fun. But I mean, I shouldn't have gone through 6 days with
Mm-mm.
103 fever.
Wow. Well, I'm glad things turned out okay in the
Yeah.
end. Now, do you have any other things that are still bothering you
No,
because of
no,
that?
I think it's not one that can have long-term effects like Lyme disease. I
Mhm.
did have a friend that had never really got over having Lyme disease.
Mhm.
So, but of course, they don't believe that either. You
Yeah.
just take the drugs and you're fine. And some people, it's like COVID. No, it's not everybody recovers all the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's
Well,
my experience.
I think it's just weird how they're wanting to shove this under the rug.
I
You
think
know?
some of those symptoms go dormant. I don't think you ever get over Lyme once you have it, personally.
Yeah. No, I was never diagnosed with Lyme. I did have the Rocky Mountain spotted tick fever.
Yeah.
Um, but
The same with that, too.
yeah. And here's the thing too, I've found out you can have the Lymes and it won't even still show up,
Yeah.
depending on
Mhm.
when you take the tests and stuff like that.
I think the sooner you start the antibiotics, probably the less likely you are to have repercussions later. But
Yeah.
again, if you're not diagnosed right away, then and you're not on drugs on your antibiotics, then you're wasting all that time.
Yeah.
And depending on what your current health is, my friend had other health issues, so her
Yeah.
body couldn't fight it as well. So
Yeah. See, I didn't know you could get heart problems from it.
yeah, I don't know that I've heard that, but I mean, it makes sense that
Yeah.
they're.
Oh yeah, flat out. They don't call it myocarditis, but same thing.
I wanted to mention, since you guys are talking about ticks, not getting them is the best approach.
Thank you.
And I use a spray called Buzz Away. You can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's made from essential oils. I put it on my face, and because I'm a farm sitter, I work outside all the time and I can't stand having a gnat or a fly hit my face. So I wear that on my face, but whenever I put it on my face or if I'm going to be walking in tall grass, I
Mm-hmm.
have sprayed on my legs and I never get ticks.
Okay.
And
What
I've
is
been
it
out
called again?
like in the deep woods this spring looking for morel mushrooms and I
Uh-huh.
never got a single tick on me.
That sounds great.
It's
Can you
called
use
Yeah.
Buzz Away.
Buzz away.
I
I'll
I
try.
do walk a couple of dogs when I'm doing my farm sitting, and the spray that the dogs wear is called Wonderside, and it's also made from uh like essential oils like peppermint, cedarwood, and lavender, and they have different scents. The peppermint one smells like creme de menthe. It's really nice. Um, and sometimes I wear that on my face for gnats. But anyway, if you don't want tick bites, spray yourself so you don't get ticks on you. And always take a shower as soon as you can and make sure to check behind your ears, the base of your neck, and your back.
Yeah, they're in your private parts too.
Yeah, that's where this one wound
They
up.
like to go, like on your pant line and that kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
too. And yeah, I had one on my back just recently, and I'm not sure how long it had been there. It was tiny and just happened to touch that part of my back, and it was itchy, and went, oh great,
Oh,
and
great. Yeah.
once
You
you've
can
been
also use a lint roller to get them off of your clothes.
once you've had
Okay.
a
Thank
tick
you.
disease, you're a little paranoid when you start
Yeah,
getting.
no kidding.
Yeah,
Well, I
all I have
wasn't.
to hear about is somebody say the word tick. I start checking.
I'm usually very good to always check, but I guess I hadn't really seen many. Usually, I start seeing them on the horses, and I really hadn't seen anything much. And so I probably got it in my front yard. Grass is taller. I was picking up limbs to get ready to cut grass, and I almost guarantee that's where I picked it up. But
My horse got anaplasmosis last summer, and he was very sick from it. He had a very high fever, cost me $300 in antibiotics
Wow.
and a vet visit. So I've been, of course, checking my horse for ticks twice a day since he got the anaplasmosis.
How can you tell they have it?
They get a very high fever, like 100 and his was almost 105.
How did you, I mean, what signs did he show that you knew he had a high fever?
Well, you could like feel the heat coming off of him standing next to him.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
Well,
you
they
know,
get just
for
like
me,
us.
I can touch a horse and tell if they're, if you're used to touching horses all the time, when they're warmer than usual, check them with a thermometer.
Okay.
But Lamage was hanging his head really low, I noticed.
Oh,
Yeah, they're just like us. They don't feel good. My mare
yeah.
Yeah.
had a.
I mean, he was
a
still like
recently.
eating. He wasn't colicking. He still wanted to eat, but maybe he
Mhm.
wasn't eating all of his food. But when I checked his temperature and it was so high, and uh, a dose of Banamine wasn't really cutting it. Because usually if you give Banamine, the fever goes down, and it didn't. So when I called my vet, she says it sounds like anaplasmosis. So she came by and gave him an IV injection of the tetracycline drug. And within 24 hours, his fever was normal. We didn't test him for anaplasmosis because he had all the symptoms of it and he responded to the treatment for it.
Well, that's good because the test would have probably cost just as much as the antibiotics did.
Yeah. And I told her, I'm
Yeah.
like, let's treat him like he has it and then we'll test if it doesn't work. But even then,
That's
like
great.
testing for
Yeah.
anaplasmosis, it wouldn't have mattered. So I'm pretty sure he had it. I'm like 99% sure he
I,
needed the antibiotics. That's for sure.
well, that's great that you noticed all that. I never even heard of that one. Do people
It's a
get that one?
bacteria. The bacteria can get so large and cause so many white blood cells in their blood that they could have seen it if they just did a regular blood screen. They would have been able to see the anaplasmosis, is what she said. You don't have
Wow.
to test specifically for anaplasmosis when they're sick. You can
Mhm.
just do blood work and it shows up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the other thing is it causes anemia, like because so many other red blood cells get damaged um, by the drug, or not by the drugs, by the bacteria, that they need B vitamin shots, which you can get that on Amazon.
Do you give your horse your own shots?
With the B vitamin, I'm okay doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Did you?
I do like for vaccines, I usually have the vet do it because I'm only doing rabies at this point.
Uh-huh.
But um, because there is rabies in this area, I'm not taking any chances with rabies. But uh, for most injections for the horse are done in the neck, I'm okay with doing that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And that's where the B vitamin goes.
Well,
Okay.
you're covered if the vet does your vaccines, if a
Yeah, if they have a
horse were to
reaction to it.
happen, or if they happen to get that particular disease or whatever, you're covered. If you give them yourself, you're not, and
So
they
with
come down with it.
that's funny.
I would never give my own IV drugs though. I'm going to
No.
leave the vet for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I even have a hard time even giving a vaccine anymore. Now, when I was younger, I'm telling you, I gave lots of penicillin to lots of horses,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But then I just got so I just couldn't do it anymore. And I guess they knew that I didn't like to do it because then they got worse about getting it. You know what I mean? It's like they sense like you're not liking it, so I better not like it either. You know,
But
stuff.
penicillin is painful,
Okay, yeah.
especially when you're having to do it twice a day and for however many days, and you keep having to hunt for places to stick them because you've already sticked them in so many places, and it makes them painful. So, and
Yeah.
it's thick and it's not fun to give. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Linda,
Yeah.
Have you had anyone look at that bite site to make sure that everything's, been removed? Because
Well,
sometimes a little bit can be left in there.
yeah, and I think at one point some was like so what happened was it's kind of in an area that's really hard to see
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a little overweight. So uh so I managed to kind of look and I don't have any mirrors in this house except in the bathroom mirror. And so it looked when I first looked at it 3 days afterwards, the bite after I found it, because I just felt it and I pulled it off. Um when I first I could barely look at it. It already looked like it had a bullseye. Well, then all this crazy stuff's going on here. With my husband and everything like that. And I didn't go to the doctor. And then 3 days after that, I thought I'm gonna take a picture of that. So, with my camera I could take a picture. It's easier than trying to look. And man, it was big, ugly, and red, you know. And then I thought, I better go to the doctor, but I
Yeah,
just
it can
didn't.
turn gangrene if you're not careful.
Oh, really? A tick
Yeah,
bite?
I
Oh
had
my
one
God.
right under my boob, and
Uh-huh.
I couldn't pull it out, and I asked my husband to, and he just yanked it out, but he left the head. And next thing
Uh-oh.
I had a green ring. Well, maybe it wasn't gangrene. Maybe it was just a green ring around a pussy, spot.
Uh-huh.
And it was red like a bullseye. I used Ictamol.
What's that?
Ictamol?
Yeah.
It's drying salve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Did
but
that work?
yeah.
Mhm.
I lived. I don't know. Um,
Oh, I lived. I was waiting for you lived where? I lived. Okay, I get it.
but I think the thing is we have to take charge of our medical
Yeah,
care,
boy, that's for sure.
and because just because they have the office and the white coat doesn't mean that they're always going to be looking out for our best
Yeah,
interests.
yeah, that's for sure. You know.
Sorry to say.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Well, and it's like, you know, they got, especially a general practitioner has so many things they gotta know about, so they can't be up on everything,
No,
you
no.
know, and stuff. So, but
So
anyway, I think I'm gonna do better. She gave me a prescription for doxycycline.
good.
Um, and now, but what's funny is at that clinic how they won't give you anything hardly. Yet I can go to a regular doctor, regular quick care, and they don't have no problem. And I'm like, what is going on here? You know, why are they withholding
ERs are
drugs
no
drugs
better.
from us? Yeah, ERs.
Okay. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it.
Okay, go right ahead.
I was in the ER about a month ago
Mm-hmm.
because I did a really foolish thing, and it's something that I'd done in the past. I had put my horse's foot on my knee,
Oh,
his
yep.
front foot on my knee to look at a crack. And maybe you can talk about cracks later on. But
Okay.
it was kind of like a hangnail
Uh-huh.
right in the toe, right at the really front part of his foot. And I took the rasp to kind of level it out. As soon as I hit it with the rasp, he pushed off my knee and I was down. Yeah, so
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I fractured two bones,
Oh
tore
my
tore a
gosh.
ligament. So for like women like me that have taken over hoof care,
Yeah.
I don't have formal training, things
Yep.
that seem mundane, because
Yeah.
I've put my horse's foot on my knee before.
Yeah.
I was just watching a commercial of that hoof rasp where he says, and you could put your horse's foot on your knee. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Please
Don't
don't
do
do
it.
it. Because thank God I don't need surgery.
Yeah.
Going to the ER, I couldn't walk, right? I got
Yeah.
wheelchaired in. They sent me out with nothing. Oh, it's a sprain. I could not walk.
Yeah.
I
They
had
didn't
to get my
x-ray it or
own
nothing?
nothing, not a Tylenol.
Oh my God.
So I had to wait to get an appointment with my regular nurse practitioner, and then she recommended an MRI. I had to wait another month for an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon.
Oh, brother.
And all along, I bought my own crutches and my own brace,
Uh-huh.
taking care of my own health care. And
Yeah.
I was going to work, walking around. And once I got to the orthopedic surgeon, he said, no, no pressure, get off, So, but thank God I don't need surgery at this point. Hopefully my bones will heal. But it's sad, but we have to take charge of our own medical care. The ER they took an X-ray and it didn't show anything,
Huh.
and it was just a sprain.
Yeah.
But please out there, women, please don't put your horse's foot on your knee. Use
Yeah,
your
no
foot
kidding.
span. It's like I probably have done it 100 times, but it was that one time where he had a little reaction and he pushed off 1,000 pounds pushing off on your knee. And once, I'm 63 years old and I'm not bouncing back as fast.
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
Having a leg immobility, I lost muscle in my hamstring, in my quad, in
Mm-hmm.
my pelvic floor, your stomach, your back, your hips, everything
Yeah.
goes out. It could be a life changer. So please be cautious.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll sure pray for you
Thank you.
that you get healed
Thank you.
and stuff. In fact, we're just going to ask God to do it now, Father. Hey, if you're not a Christian, you want to hear it, you can always,
I am.
turn the
I am. And
volume
I'm
down,
praying
all
for you
right?
too, Linda.
Okay. So anyway, but we are some of us,
Yes.
and we believe there is a higher power and that God heals. I know he heals. Okay. So Father, in the name of Jesus, we just come to you right now for Missy. That was you, Missy, right?
Yes, that was.
Okay. We just come to you for Missy, Father, and you see the accident she had. Right now, we just pray for her knee, and we ask God that you will just energize her physical body and heal that knee. Help, the body is, God meant the body to heal itself, that you would just energize her body so that that knee will be healed,
Да, мы
Father,
сегодня
completely, and she will have no long-term
absolutely.
effects. In Jesus' name, amen. There
Okay,
we
I
go.
will buy
Amen.
tomorrow.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Just take
And I
it.
also pray for Linda's healing.
Just
Thank you,
take
God. Like
some.
nothing missing, nothing broken. Thank you,
Amen.
Lord.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for that. And the older I get, the more prayer I need. Well, I needed more when I was younger, maybe, though. I don't know. But thank you for sharing that and warning people. See, because yeah, all it takes is one deal.
Mm-hmm.
See, I got a knee that I had a bull ram into the side of my knee and dislocated. It's never been the same.
Mm.
And they didn't want to operate on it because they said, "Oh, we'll wait till you need a knee replacement."
Oh,
All right, in your dreams. Okay, so I'm babying that knee because I don't want a knee replacement.
mm-mm.
So, yeah, there's so many of us that have got that are older that are trying to help and fix our horses. You know.
Mhm.
So, anyway, well, tact is 100% pure science based on uh doing something to get in the result and studying the anatomy. But there are also things in this life that are beyond anything that we can see, whether people want to believe it or not. Like the remote control. I always use this example. You got a remote control, you cannot see that beam, but it's having an effect. You know what I mean? So, anyway. All right, so I was going to take a break, but I wound up not taking a break. I'm just kind of slowly munching on my sandwich as you people are talking. All right, so let's see. What should we do next? Is there anything anybody wants to know about? Anybody want to look at a horse?
Yes.
Marilyn,
Can you address cracks sometime in this?
yeah, We could do
Okay,
it now. You want to do it now?
sure.
Okay. Do you got pictures?
No, I don't. But just imagine a toe crack.
Like in the center of the toe?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can show you. Now, why don't you give me a history of you and your horse and your farrier thing?
Oh, goodness. Okay. I um I was finagled by trusting my farrier and my vet who worked together that I needed to do this, needed to do that, and I did. But when I wasn't able to get my appointments on time because everything was so urgent, um, I just I I started taking control. I tried to. I started learning the Pete Ramey method, and that only went so far, and I gave up because I wasn't getting the results I wanted. So I went back to traditional farriers, and I think at that point my horse had already lost his heels, and he was on a bad plane where it was just perpetuated, and his foot just kept going forward. Um, then I studied David Landerville, and that was his name. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, and that wasn't any better. I and then I found you. So I've been trying to repair a horse that had over 10 years of, oh, maybe closer to 15 years of improper hoof care, and it's a slow progress. Sometimes he's sound, and then he's not. I thought we were doing great, and something happened. I don't know, his foot changed or I changed. But he had, what was his upright foot, which was always I thought was his good foot, but what really it was the foot that contracted the most to stay upright instead of going flat.
Uh-huh.
It it had cracked in the center, and I, good grief, I just quit trimming for a bit because I felt like I was making things worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the toe crack started to separate more. And I thought, oh no, that's going to catch on something.
Uh-huh.
So I thought I'd take the rasp and level it out a little bit from the
Yeah.
top. And it just was enough to hurt him to push off.
Okay.
He also has a quarter crack in the diagonal foot, rear diagonal.
Okay.
Um, and that has been ongoing. I probably have a picture of that somewhere I could probably pull up. But just how I don't fully understand why these cracks happen. I don't know where it came from. Maybe it was he got too long in the quarters, in the toe quarters. I don't know. Um, and then the one in the back. Good grief. I'd like to, do I notch them? Do I, um, do I bevel them up so there's no pressure? I'm putting some organic um, mud. It's some data life. I can't remember the name of it. I'm just drawing blanks right now, but I'm putting this hoof packing mud in the cracks. Um, I did I did have a period where was casting, and I thought maybe that had dried his feet out to make him
Uh-huh.
crack. Um, I was soaked. I have soaking boots. I I've tried a little bit. Maybe I haven't been consistent enough with anything to get the progress I want, but um, I don't know. I just would it, I could really use some more knowledge and helping create a plan to move forward with these cracks.
Okay. Well, do you see the picture I got up there?
Mm-hmm.
This is structural this is Casey LaPierre's equine podiatry trim. And it does this to a lot of feet. And it's also based on, you ever heard of the 4-point trim?
Yes, I've heard you mention that.
Okay.
Gene Ovnik or whatever.
Well, no, Gene Ovanek, he come up with the idea that you should leave wall on the toe quarter a little high because of his wild horse research, not understanding the truth about the wild horse foot. He took board imprints and he saw that there were prints in the heels and at the sides of the toe. And so he assumed that's where they bear, and at the base of the frog. And so he assumed that's where the horse bears most of the weight. And so in designing a trim, what they do is they leave these toe quarters a little high because they think they're all, that's how they got called pillars, but they're not pillars. You know, I explained, see, this all has to do with correct horn tubule alignment. Okay. And so, you know, earlier I was talking about how, let me get it annotate up here. Right color. Okay, so the longest horn tubule should be right in the center of the toe. And from there, they gradually get lower. And so, let me see here. I got to decide if I want to draw a foot or do this on our regular foot. I'll just draw one. It would be an ugly foot, but okay. So here's your dorsal wall, and here's your heels. Let's see. Up like that. Now, just a minute here. So this is structured just like a house. You build a house, you got a frame, and everything is built to withstand weight and hold together and things like that. And so you got a hook capsule. Oops, sorry, Danny. Oh, just a minute.
Did you mute yourself?
You're muted, Linda.
He's taking a phone call.
Oh, that'll do it.
Good one, Marilyn.
What?
I said I liked your comment. It made me laugh.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad it's good for something.
Okay, sorry about that. Had an emergency call. Okay, everybody still there?
Yep.
You didn't hear me, did you?
Nope.
Okay, that's good. Had an emergency call, and life is interesting, to say the least. Okay, so the hoof capsule is this structure that is a shell, and it's composed of these horn tubules that are like hairs that grow down. Well, oh, that's wrong there. Wait a minute. Let me undo this. Okay, so inside there, this thing grows from a foot, and this foot is shaped like this. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong pin. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to draw the foot. Now, all of this is the foot here. That's in the pink. Okay, I'm just drawing the coronary band like this so you can see it. See, that's coronary band that the shell grows down. Okay, this is more like a half circle. It's not a nubbin like the back. Okay, it's just like this side. It's kind of a half round here. And so the hoof wall grows down from it like this. But back here, if you remember, I was telling you that the back is different. Okay, the back, the heel buttress grows from underneath this nubbin here. That's why, yes, these heel buttresses really are weight bearing, and they are, you could call that a pillar. A pillar props something up, right? But the rest of it is just a half circle, like so, around the whole thing, including the front here. That this wall grows down. So this here, you see this shape, that's not really a pillar shape. That's not really meant to be a support structure. Here, yeah, support up and down both ways. Here, no. If this part gets too weighted, like say I leave my quarters too long, eventually the hoof wall, just a minute here, eventually the hoof wall here it won't be able to grow out and down. And so it'll start jamming back up this way, and eventually it'll push into the coronary band and push it up like that. And so then when it does that, it will do this. It'll raise the coronary band. And of course, the hairline is right there too, see? So you'll see that the hairline is raised. When it can't push the coronary band up anymore, and another thing that'll happen, the wall will also compress into little bulges like this as this is happening, trying to keep the wall from eventually pressing up here and all the way into the coronary band and pushing it up. And so then when it can't press anymore that way, then it will flare outward like this. And this is exactly what's going on in this foot right here. Okay, this wall is pushed up as high as it'll go, both in the sides of the toe and in the quarters, so that now the foot is flaring out like that. So, just a minute here. We use blue. So, here's your hairline. And again, when this wall gets jammed up because the quarter's left too high, it's going to push this up. So the wall is not a support structure in that sense that the horse is supposed to walk on the wall, because anytime he walks on the wall, it pushes it up. Again, I give the explanation. Take your fingernails and press them down with your finger straight up in the air, pressing your nail down on a table, and you will feel the weight transferred onto the nail bed, and then you will feel it up at the cuticle. That is what happens to this wall here. And so this area here behind the wall on the capsule is a half circle like this, shaped like that. See this? That's called your coronary band groove. Right there. You see, that is not a support structure. And this is why you have to know how to rasp the foot, to rasp the walls, to follow the shape of the foot, because wherever you don't get it down correctly, it becomes high, and then the wall being weighted will start pushing up, and eventually you're going to have a flare, or eventually you're going to have a raised hairline or something like that. Now I want you to look at the difference between the part that grows here. This is the front wall of the foot, this whole thing here, all the way around. And on the sides, like here, I got the side view. Okay, so all the way around the wall to here, you have the coronary band groove. See, we look in a hoof capsule, we'll see a groove that the coronary band fits in right here. Except up to the very back of the foot, which is right here, this nubbin. This is still the coronary band. Let me fill it in. You see this nubbin? Okay. It extends behind the heels of the foot. Here, we'll make this. So this is the coronary band. It extends behind the heels of the foot. And in this case, the wall changes. The wall changes, and now the wall grows underneath that. It doesn't grow up here. Doesn't grow there. It grows underneath the nubbin right here. A triangular square type pillar looking thing. See there? And so it grows underneath there. And as it grows down, it attaches itself to the lamina of the internal heel. So this is your heel buttress. Now this is a pillar. See, everything about it structurally tells us it is weight bearing because it supports the back of the foot here, to help keep the whole back of the foot up where it should be, to help keep the coronary band up where it should be. So this is your heel buttress, this big triangular solid chunk of heel wall here, growing from under here. So let me get another color here. We use green. So the hoof capsule The hoof capsule has structure. Everything has structure, and it's all based on structural engineering principles. It's got a foundation, it's got a structure, it's got a frame. It's like cement and rebar, or the frame on a house. You got your frame of the house, and those 2x4s have to be situated in a certain way to maintain that frame. And so if, let's say, the back of the 2x4s crush in, it's going to start affecting the ones in front of it to one degree or another. So all these horn tubules that grow from here, they attach internally. You have internal lamina on the other side of this horn tubule that attaches to a specific piece of lamina right after the wall leaves the coronary band, grows down to here, connects with the sole, and then the sole and the wall grow down to the ground together. Now, in your heel buttress back here, it connects to the very back of the heel of the inner foot, and it grows down right to here where it connects with the sole, and then it grows down together. And so this would be the seat of the corn in here. So these horn tubules that you see on the outside, except for right here, correspond to the mini lamina. Just a minute. The mini lamina that you see on the inside of this foot. See there? So you got these lamina in here. So the longest one is in the center of the foot. And then they gradually recede as they go down. Like here, look how straight across this hairline is. That is not how that is supposed to be. This is supposed to, let's see here. This is supposed to go like this. Wait a minute. Oh, wait a second. Got what I was doing. Okay, now I remember. Okay, so this is supposed to, longest in the center, goes down like this. That's the shape of the inner foot. Ah. That's the shape of the inner foot. Now, it's not like that on this because they left these toe quarters high because Gene Overnick, when he saw those wild horses, he thought that they bore weight on the sides of the toe, and he called them pillars. And so in the minds of people, they became pillars of support. See? So when they trim them, they either purposely leave them long, or they just don't know the true shape of the toe, and so they don't know how to rasp them down properly to follow the true shape of the sides of the toe, and so they get long on their own because the person doesn't know how to trim the sides of the toe to shape the foot. So you can leave them long on purpose, or you can leave them long accidentally, but regardless, the same thing happens. Okay? So these horn tubules here wind up getting long. Now you can see it both at the bottom, it looks square. See, it should look like, when we look at this foot from the front, it should look like this. What we have here is a foot that was purposely left a certain way due to false doctrine. See, the foot should look like that from the front. If you're trimming it right, you're shaping it to the foot and you're making it oval, not square or round and stuff. But if you accidentally leave this area high, or you purposely do it like what they're doing here, then this is what happens. What you see here. Now what has happened is these toe quarters that they call, that's why I don't call them pillars anymore. These toe quarters, okay, have been forced to be high and gain weight. Well, they're starting to pull out to the side, and so it's splitting the wall in the center. Do you see that? That's what happens. See, this crack in the center is due to the toe pillars getting high and literally is just pulling this wall that way and this one that way. And so eventually it's splitting in the middle. And of course, they always take the toe back too, but leave the pillars, or see, bad habits, hard to break. Leave the toe quarters high and take the toe back. So they'll like bevel the toe and then not really bevel the pillars, they leave them high. Like you can, if you go watch ELPO mapping on YouTube, Equine Lameness Prevention Organization, you will see them do a mapping, and then they will mark this area here on the sole and they will purposely leave them high. And this is what KC LaPierre does in equine podiatry as well.
Linda,
And so, yeah,
this is priceless. This is a beautiful diagram. It's like it is, you explain this so easy to understand. Thank you so much. But I just keep going. Thank you.
thank you. Well, thank you for that encouragement and stuff, because I really wanted to understand it. I want other people to understand too, so they can help their horses. Okay, so let me undo a few things here. Okay, so all right, so these horn tubules, they're longest in the center and they gradually get shorter as they start going around here. Like so. And so from the side view, it would look like this. Now, these horn tubules are real things. They're like hairs, but they might as well be like rebar or like a 2x4 on a frame on a house. You know? There is one way, and one way only, that this hoof capsule is made up. Okay, now here, just a second here. Okay, so second. What is that? Oh, well, that'll work. Okay, so now you got your periopal that covers this over right here. Covers it over. Kind of has a little flap here. See? And it covers this over so that you don't, it ties it all together so that you don't see it. So this is, hey, that works pretty good for periopal. Look at that. So you got your periopal here. I'm going to fill this in to be our periopal. Okay, but you see that even though the periopal covers the back here, that it's different than this wall here. It's different. And this really is a pillar, but these sides of this toe is not pillars. They were not meant to bear major weight. Okay. And so let's fill in the sole. So the sole is in here. Here. We're going to put the sole here. And just a second here. Okay. All right, so you got your horn tubule again. What does it? Okay, well, the horn tubule does not connect to the lamina, but internally, here, we'll use light blue as the lamina that's on the very inside of the hoof wall that connects to the lamina. See right there, I got a pink line, then there's a blue line. This is the lamina that's on the hoof capsule. The lamina on the hoof capsule is on the other side of the horn tubules and should be in alignment with them. See, shouldn't be like this internally, or anyway, they're in alignment. Like your horn tubules on the outside, your lamina's on the inside, and it's right behind that horn tubule there. It's in alignment with it, see? And of course, this is just temporary stuff. Now, again, the pink represents the lamina, sensitive lamina that is flesh tissue on the foot. And so then the lamina internally on the hoof capsule itself that connects to that pink line there. Remember, this is hoof capsule. The pink is foot. This piece of lamina on the other side of these green horn tubules there, it connects to the lamina on the foot, and it grows down here till it reaches the sole ridge, where it is injected with biological yellow lamina glue to connect the sole, because the sole does not have lamina leaves. Instead, the sole has this glue that it injects into this lamina, and then they grow down to the ground together like that. And that is how the sole is connected to the wall. And like right on the other side of that, again, is this horn tubule right there. And then the wall keeps, now the tubules will only grow about an inch and they die. But the wall will grow forever and ever and ever. And so what happens then is after the wall should then grow beyond the sole like that. And that's the part you come in and trim off. See? So let me undo this here. So there is structure to all of this. This inner foot has to be at a specific shape, form, height. This is what you see inside there. That is the foot of the horse. The back of the foot is a specific shape. It has to be in a specific position and a specific height, period. But then you get a drought or something like that, and usually the foot grows according to the rate of wear, so that the horse's foot can maintain, for the most part, its own shape. But then let's say you have bad weather, you get a drought, or even in the winter, they have to travel further to eat food in the wild and stuff like that. Well, then they'll wear their heels out more. Now, so you got to imagine that you can wear the heels out more by literally wearing them down, or by rasping them down. So if he wears the heels down here, like say like this, Okay, well, then what happens? It forces the back of the foot down, but the foot wants to be up here. So the foot is constantly pulling up, and as it does, it takes, and as the heel buttress is being, weakened, it will literally pull this piece of foot around behind and wrap it in towards the frog so that the foot can be back up here. Now, imagine this. Then this part here becomes the heel. Right here, this becomes the heel. And nobody even knows. And then this round part gets, wrapped up. It just makes a smaller and smaller hoof capsule. So in regards to cracks, you keep lowering the heels. And eventually, they try and get a 30-degree hairline like this. Okay, well, originally, this horn tubule that's right here was up here, and it was at this angle. But when this was lowered down here, it's now at this angle. Well, it wasn't like there wasn't nothing there, so what happens? What happened to these other horn tubules that were there? Well, it started kicking them forward. Like this. This horn tubule kicks into that one kicks into this one kicks into one up here. Then it's going to kick into the one in front of it. And then this one here is going to kick into this one here. And then all of a sudden, it gets up here to, just a minute here. It gets up here to, let's do a different color. It gets up here to this horn tubule here. And this horn tubule decides it doesn't want to go anywhere. Or, well, some of them, let's say it starts getting into ones up here that don't want to go anywhere. Well, then there's still all this pressure pushing it forward, and that's where it cracks. See, it's a structural crack from all these horn tubules being bent and forced forward till it gets to one that doesn't want to move, that's too firmly attached. And the mechanics are not right for it to push on it. So instead, it cracks there and tries to push ahead of it. And that's the reason for 99% of all these cracks are structural. Other fine cracks, sometimes that's just really damaged, stressed periopal that's grown down off the hoof, over the hoof, and causes hairline looking cracks and stuff like that. Like on Valor, on his, it got the walls pushed clear up to here, and this is where it decided to crack, right up in the pillar. See? So this is two of the main reasons for cracks in the center of the toe is usually always this. One way or another, the toe quarters got long and just pulled the center of the wall apart. In the side, the horn tubules just pushed forward and eventually got to where there was one that did want to push forward, and it cracks there. The start of corrective trimming. See, it's not the end. It's the start of corrective trimming. So this is what I showed on Valor's foot that I was correcting. He had horn tubules that were clear up here, like so. And so how do we bring those back? Well, trim correctly, and then you, let me get a different color here. Well, let's just use black. And so let's say this is the wall. Okay, so the wall goes clear down to there, but when you bevel the outer edge, it lifts that wall off of being ground bearing. And see, the inner foot, so you got to remember that this is putting a lot of pressure on that inner foot. That inner foot wants to go back to its true shape, So it is constantly pulling in that direction. And so when you just create a different boundary and give it room, it will pull stuff back slightly. And so you come in here and here's your wall right to there, but instead you come in here and you bevel it up. You bevel that wall up so that the outer tubules are not ground weight bearing, and literally these tubules will just drop down like that. And you bevel it again, it'll drop down and back like that. See, it'll just keep going down and back. You come in here, you bevel it up, it'll drop down. You bevel it up, it'll drop down and back, down and back, down and back, till you get all these hard tubules in alignment again. But just a minute here. You have to grow some heel in first a lot of times to get it to do any of this. Okay? Because horn tubules that are short down here, when you got long ones like this, do you see the structural problem with that? That you're not going to get these horn tubules to kick. Well, let's say you got a run forward heel here. You're not going to get this horn tubule here to kick that back up. So you might get these to come back a little, but what you have to do is you have to grow the heel and grow these horn tubules longer, so that then these horn tubules here, if they kick back, they'll be able to move this one clear back here eventually and kick it up to where it's straighter. But the main thing is growing in heel and replacing this wall that you trimmed out here. See? So that pretty much that's all I know about cracks.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
I learned that all from Valor trying to correct his feet after I screwed him up.
Well, I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. Well, does anybody else have anything?
Would you like to see a picture of his hindfoot crack?
Yes.
Okay, I can send it to you
Okay.
right now.
Now, this is interesting while you're doing that. So this is a horse that was trimmed by an equine podiatrist trained by Casey LaPierre. And now I'm going to show you some pictures I got of a video he did. Somebody sent this to me years ago. This was a horse at their barn. And she said, this horse is being trained by an equine, or not trained, trimmed by an equine podiatrist. So later, I went and looked at a video on YouTube by Casey LaPierre. Okay, now there's things I didn't explain. Gene Ovanek come up with this leaving the toe quarters long thing because of his misunderstanding of the wild horse foot. Then a guy named Rick Redden come along. Dr. Rick Redden. I guess he's a vet, who knows. Well, he copped that info, put it bluntly, made use of that intellectual property and gave it another name and called it the 4-point trim. And then to make his brand better, he called it equine podiatry. And then other people booted off of him, like Casey LaPierre and Tom Teskey. And see, what it was is when people come up with these ideas, then everybody starts seeing dollar signs in their eyes, and then they come up with their own version. It's no different than what the Chinese do with everything we make, right? So nobody understanding what's really going on, and me neither for many years. Okay. So so then I go to YouTube, just a minute here, and I start watching Casey LaPierre's videos to find out, because that's equine podiatry, right? Okay, so here you go. This is not the same horse. This is the horse he's trimming on his video. Just a second. And again, the ones I just showed you, just a minute. The one I just showed you with the big cracks in the middle of the toe, um, that was way before I ever saw this, but she told me that's an equine podiatrist. So that's what, when I learned that's what they do, they leave the toe pillars high. Okay. So then I went to uh, YouTube and watched a video of the high performance trim by Casey LaPierre. And this was on there. I took screenshots. See, now look here. Remember, I told you it jams the wall up. Look how this foot, just like that other foot, totally different horse, probably in a different part of the country. But look at how the wall is jammed up in the toe quarters here. Not only that, but see, we didn't talk about growth rings. I forgot to mark the growth rings, how you're supposed to read those too. And let's see here. Okay, so growth rings. Okay, so you got your horn tubule. Oh, that's too thin. Just a minute. So you got your horn tubules. Okay, remember that's supposed to be the longest, and then they gradually get shorter. See, as they go to the side of the foot. Okay, but you have your growth rings too. Just a minute. And you can see here that not only is this area here jammed up like that, okay, but look at the hoof, at the growth ring. See it? Not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to look like this. Well, it would be like this. They're supposed to kind of look like that. I can't draw them very good, but definitely they're not supposed to go like that. See? And this one, and then you see what else, what makes it worse is then because they start to flare after they can only jam up so much and they can't go any further and they keep leaving them long. Well, then they start to flare and separate from the sole and stretch the white line. Well, look, you see the hoof wall, how they're rasping it down, dressing it down. See, to make it, because they think that's how you get rid of a flare. No, that's how you disguise a flare. So these growth rings go like this. Look at that. See, that's way bad. Way bad. Let's see here. I had a conversation with him. I had a conversation with him here. Where he said this was his horse's foot right here. Said, that's my horse's foot. They think, this horse's bulbs are pulled under and stuff because they lower heels and they, a lot of times too, in that trim, they leave too much toe. Okay, so that's the mapping that he does, and he leaves the toe quarters right here long and high. he was on this site. I don't care. I'm going to tell this story. Okay, so he was on this hoof group somebody had, and he was telling me that and he was advertising that he had a clinic going, and stuff like that. And so I asked him how much he charged. And this was like, when was this? My God, this is like 10 years ago. Uh, or maybe not that long ago. When was this? I don't remember. And I said, well, how? He said, L300, that's pound. I said, what's that in American? And he says, Linda J. Harris, that's about 360. Because he was happy because his classes were, oh, look, still a limited number of spaces available for this workshop. So I said, how much is that in American? He said about $360. I said, and how many students are you taking? And he says, we have room for 30 in a 3-day workshop lecture hall. We'll handle 60. We're happy to report that the course is booking. So I said, Linda J. Harris, I said, wow, $10,300 just for 30 days. Yes, I can see why you'd be happy about that. Now they probably charge 600. See, there's a lot of money in hoof care, people. Just so you can have feet like that. Which it's not the knowledge or the people having believed what they believe. It's these wicked, exorbitant prices that people are being charged for bad information. See, it's greed. The hoof care business is one of the greediest, most narcissistic, uh, well, kind of like religion, I guess, or doctors, you know. I mean, there's just so much greed. Where these people get off thinking that what they have is worth the exorbitant prices they're it's getting ridiculous. I think there were a couple gals that went to one of his clinics it was in Florida, and they paid $1,200. So anyway, okay, so here's an example. Here's an example of what I was talking about. Except this was my mare's foot. I had only been restoring the heels on her for a short period of time, so her coronary band is still pulled down. See? But here you can see the lamina, the coronary band. Here you see the coronary band groove. See it? That is not meant to bear weight. You see why that would push up and push that up? And you see her coronary band, how it's wide here. That's because for many years, I did that trim, leaving those pillars high, and it pushed up on her too. I never left it so high though that she cracked in the toe that I can recall. But here's an example of that. Here's an example of the lamina. The lamina is like a sliding dovetail joint. You see that? See how, it's sliding like in woodwork? So one would be the wall, and one would be the lamina of the foot, and the wall slides down the lamina of the foot. Okay, and that just shows your convex sole ridge, which she didn't have much yet. Okay, so I'm going to go and look for that picture you sent. Where did you send it, Missy? Hello?
Oh, messenger?
Huh.
Yeah, it's from Maria. Sorry. Got two names going.
I still haven't got it.
No, I'll send it again.
Is it in my own personal messenger?
Um, I'm using I sent it from my phone to Linda Harris. Let me see. I go back. I will send it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, Messenger, Linda. Sent.
Here. Um, well, just a second here. Let me see if I can send you a message. Hold on.
Oh, it said
Is your last name Owens?
Woolly. You know, it said it failed.
I
So
wonder
let me
why.
try again. Tap to retry.
Oh, you're on the correct trim research group, right?
Yes.
And what's your name on there?
Woolly, Maria Woolly.
Oh, Maria. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my family calls me Missy. For some reason I had Missy on Zoom. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Share.
Is it Maria?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wink.
Okay, I'm gonna message you. Oh, okay. Now you showed up.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that's the reason. Let's see. Share. Oops, share. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, that's what happens. See, this hairline is supposed to be clear up here. And so with it being lowered, then the heels got pushed forward and they all pushed forward to right there. And then this wall said, no, I'm not going nowhere. And so it cracks. It's the same thing like in an earthquake, how the stratuses of the earth shift and crack. Is that your last farrier? Can you hear me?
No, that's Pete Ramey.
Oh, really? Is that your horse's foot?
No, it was just a clinic. He was putting glue-ons. He was putting some glue-ons on her.
Okay.
But
Hmm. That guy's hairy. No, I'm just kidding.
interesting, huh?
No,
Took the heel right down.
yeah. Yeah. Poor horse.
That that was probably 10 years ago or better. So,
This picture of Pete.
mm-hmm.
There's me. I can tell that person.
Is your mic turned off, Linda? Because it's really, really dim.
Oh, how's that?
Much better.
Okay.
So to address the quarter crack.
How do I get over here? I must have sent you those pictures at some point.
Linda, could you
Yeah?
pull up a picture of Valor's front front view of his hoof?
Yeah. Just a second here.
So is it correct to take the weight off of that crack?
No. No, what you got to do is you have to grow heels and raise the hairline. You know, the only other thing you could do is, get you some epoxy and clean it out and kind of stabilize it for a time, because you have to grow these heels and raise the hairline, and then so that the back of the foot is not pushing forward.
So would a notch help?
Um, no, not really.
Okay.
What'll help is just like you could take some epoxy and put it on there a little bit. Maybe that might stabilize it a little bit. But really, what you need to do is just keep growing these heels.
Okay.
See, and get the hairline up like that, and get that in and of itself is going to straighten the horn tubules. See, so that then this heel isn't down low pushing forward. So there's nothing you can do, but if you took a brush and cleaned that out and cleaned it real good and bought you some epoxy, that would help.
Okay.
It would keep it
Thank
from
you.
moving and stabilize it. Just put a big chunk of epoxy right in there. See? Okay, I'm going to find a picture of Valor's foot here. I can remember where I'm at. Let's get to pick the best one. Okay, here's one. Just a minute here. How's that? Okay, see his crack? That thing used to be open down here all the time. But since his foot has come back more and the back of the hairline has stood up, it doesn't do that anymore because all these horn tubules came back. But see, that's what happened to him. All these horn tubules got a lower angle pushing forward, and they got there, and then that wouldn't push around the corner, and that's where it cracked. Let's see here. Oh, let me see. I'll show this one too. Okay, so if we go back to then the principles, let's see here. Where am I at? See, this is where I've been trying to head with this foot here. Longest in the center, gradually, of course, again, gradually getting shorter as they go back this way, you know. And of course, these I want to come back still more, a little more, but they're doing pretty good so far. But anyway, the basic structure, we're getting down there. And now, see, as I said, this part of the foot wants to be up here, but I think his heels are even higher than this. Just the way I'm seeing his foot, and some of them have almost a straight hairline, like so. And there's way more heel in a lot of them than what people think sometimes. But irregardless, I know if I keep the heels pretty high, his foot is not gonna want to pull up and pull the heels in. So okay, well, I think for me personally, that's all I have today, unless there's something somebody else wants to discuss.
I wanted to see a picture of Valor from the front.
Oh, from the front? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on here. I thought you said, I didn't know what you said. I guess I didn't understand. Okay. Ah, you see that?
That's the shape you drew, the correct
Mhm.
shape.
And if you look at an internal foot from this direction with the hoof capsule off, this is the way it looks. That's the shape of it. And so, um,
Be right back, going to trim my horse.
yeah, and here's the thing. If this wall gets jammed up and it adds wall in, let me annotate here. So oh, let's say I left this high. Okay, see how it would square it out? Well, it's going to put pressure going up, and eventually, now you see the way this is shaped here. You see the amount of capsule in this wall. Gradually, it's going to shove this whole hairline up here where it's like this. Okay, look how much extra wall I put in the capsule here. See it? That's extra wall. And then down here, instead of the growth rings kind of being smooth like that, it'd be also up like so. And then this part here would be flared out. So what you got to do is you got to lower it. You can't just carve it to be that way. You have to excise that wall out of there by, you come up here, you may lower it down to shape the foot. You may lower it, but then you have to bevel it and take the weight off of it so that it will do, let's see, do this.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because my horse has a toe crack and I've been doing this wrong.
Yeah, this will help you a lot. So, okay, so you're going to come in, you're going to lower it first of all. That means you're going to rasp that corner down and around, and you'll start to see the shape change to where the sole will follow, or the wall will follow the shape of the sole more. And then, without taking a lot of sole out or nothing, because you could have the same depth of sole, but still have way more wall in this chunk here. But the sole is the same because it's the wall that's moved and added to the capsule, not the sole. So the sole is still the same. So you just can't like rasp it down all the time. What you want to do, you do want to rasp it down, but then you want to bevel it back, and then that's going to take the pressure off and it will drop down. And so it would be like this, like, okay, it will drop down and it'll lower this hairline a little bit. See there? And so you come in and you bevel it again, and it's got room, and it'll drop down again. And you just keep doing that until finally the flare comes out and the wall comes down and the hairline is lowered so that it's that shape. Because if you went and just tried to force a shape into it, like say that's high and you wanted to kind of make it look the same shape, you couldn't. You have to literally get that wall, you have to allow it to come out by now doing the very opposite of what you did to get it that way. You left it high, now you got to leave it a little low or get it at least level and then bevel it so there's no weight, so that wall will come out of the capsule. And little bit, and I still, if I don't watch it, but I know one thing, I'm getting a lot better at shaping toes and rasping down toes, which I just feel is something that everybody needs to learn, and that I sure would like to do more videos about. I got all these dead feet out here. I could really show you a lot on those. And just really getting people established in a basic clean trim. without a lot of correction, and then going into and discussing how you might start correcting these things and being able to give examples, in a video. I'd like to be able to do that.
Well, you just did.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll be referencing this when
Okay,
I
well,
do my next trim.
great.
I'll take some before and after pictures.
Awesome. Okay. Well, okay. Anybody else got anything else?
No, Linda, those are some of the best diagrams. Oh my gosh, they're priceless.
Thank you, dear. Hope it helps people.
I hope it
Okay,
helps my horse.
it will. It will. Well, okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go then. My goodness, this is early.
Well, take care and just hang in there and
Hey, for sure. Thank you, everybody, for any good advice you gave about that issue. I appreciate it.
yeah.
If you're on doxycycline, stay out of the sun.
Why is that?
You get extra sensitive to the sun and you will fry.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
it'll be like permanent damage.
Oh, really? Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for telling me that.
Long
All
Like
right.
sleeves and
really,
sunscreen.
like if you go out in the sun, long sleeves. Don't even just bother with sunscreen. Wear long sleeves.
Okay.
Sunscreen and a hat for your head.
Yes.
Okay, I will. Thank you for warning me. I always wondered about that.
They mean it.
Well, and make sure you eat a little something before you take one of those pills. Holy henna.
Oh, yeah.
I had to do the opposite. I couldn't eat.
Oh, really?
I have to take it on it. Well, they really want you to. Mine, but they said to take it on an empty stomach, but I couldn't. If I ate something and took it, I usually threw up.
Drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
It causes kidney stones, so lots and lots of
Oh,
water.
really?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for all these warnings. Oh my God, I'm so
Feel-
grateful.
Now just feel better.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go drink a ton of water right now because I do not want kidney stones. Yep. Hey, well, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Hope you feel
Okay.
Thank
better.
you.
I will, I'm sure.
Feel
You guys
better.
are awesome. Thank you for
Thank you.
helping me learn. I appreciate it.
Thank you for helping us learn.
See, but this is the thing, see, I learn the most by being able to share. This is the way this is the way the schools should have been, this is the way the churches should have been. You learn it by sharing. That's how you learn it. So okay, guys, take care.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you much.
Okay. Bye-bye.